And another edition of Ramblin with Ryno. Tyler Cupp, Ryno, Ryan Branham here with you to give you the latest and greatest in the mind and ramblings of Ryan Branham. Ryno, we had this conversation earlier today. You have been going off the last week or so since you started the Ramblin with Ryno Spreaker page. You've just been sitting in the truck and recording rants and ramblings. And I said, Ryno, are we still going to record a podcast? He goes, oh, yeah, man. Those are just some I had off the top of my head. We'll elaborate on the podcast, he says.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably do one every 20 minutes or something that pops in my head. It's kind of like Facebook posts, but I don't.
Hey, man, look at those Crocs.
It's just hard to talk to myself. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that. You know, you kind of set the tone, and then I give my opinion. It's kind of hard to, do it on your own. But
I'm the offensive line and the quarterback. Mm-hmm. I block the path. I hand it off, and you take it 70 yards for the score.
I'm the Tyreek Hill, man. I take it all the way to the house.
You're the Tyreek Hill. What a reference that is. Wow. Okay.
I'm the Debo Samuel. You block for me, I'll take it back 93 yards.
We got a lot of topics. But before we get to that, let's kind of recap very briefly the weekend in sports, because I think this is going to be more of a preview podcast when it comes to sports events coming up. Gamecocks 2-0, Clemson Tigers 2-0. The Panthers are off to a 1-0 start. Locally, it was a pretty darn good weekend for football.
Yeah, definitely a good week. Gamecocks went on the first true road trip, and we thought, well, maybe Missouri can score. They held Missouri to one touchdown, 13 points. Looked pretty good. Clemson finally got tested by an Auburn team who was, I think a little overrated, but solid defense, not much on the offensive end, and Clemson dominated on defense and won 14-6. So, like you said, both teams 2-0. Carolina faces Kentucky this week, coming off a 3-game losing streak against the Wildcats, and then Clemson flies to Louisville, Kentucky, and they won 3 in a row, but the last 2 could have went either way. And Louisville had a chance at the end of both games, and we'll see. Kelly Bryant will have to do a little more than he did last week. We'll see what happens there. We'll see how good the defense works against Lamar Jackson, and then we'll see if Lamar Jackson has enough tools to chisel away at that Clemson defense.
Yeah, and for the Carolina Panthers, I don't think we're going to find out just how good the Panthers are for another 2 or 3 weeks. They've got the Patriots coming up in a couple weeks, but they've got the Bills coming up this weekend. Very interesting dichotomy with this game. You've got the former GM and former GM, and you've got a former coach from the Carolina Panthers now on the side of the Buffalo Bills. I don't think that means a whole lot, but the bottom line is we don't think the Bills are that good. But it's going to be hard to see just how good the Panthers are until they play a top-quality team, because we've seen so far in the National Football League that there's some bad teams. There's a lot of bad football in the NFL.
First week was terrible. I mean, there's like 5 decent games.
I texted you Sunday. It's one of the worst week ones that I can remember, and I'm an NFL nut. I mean, I know we're in the South and college football is king, but I'm an NFL nerd, and this is one of the worst week ones that I can remember in my time, where we just didn't have any close games. They were all low scoring.
I think it's like baseball, where they always say that it takes a while for the hitting to catch up to the pitching. I think the offense must have to catch up to the defense.
Well, that and a bunch of bad quarterbacks.
Bunch
of no-name. Scott Tolzien for the Colts.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Deshaun Kaiser for the Browns. Didn't play bad, but still, that is your starting quarterback.
You don't want to go to battle with him when his first career start is the opening day without taking a snap. Talk about Carolina. That Bills team is one of those teams, though. They'll lose 2 or 3 games they probably shouldn't, or get beat by teams that are average, but they'll win some games. Tyrod Taylor will make a play here or there. LaShawn McCoy is a solid back. I'm not saying they'll beat the Panthers. I'm just saying it's weird how the Bills.
Oh, no, I agree with you.
Bills show up. Sometimes their defense will make plays, and I tell you what, Mike Tolbert, the short yardage guy who ex-Panther, he played solid on Sunday as well. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Panthers go in there and win that game.
I'm going to say this, before this current regime, Rex Ryan was there. They had drafted a team that I always thought was a fun team to watch, a very athletic defense, very athletic offense. They like the running quarterbacks and Tyrod Taylor, guys that can do it on the run.
EJ Manuel.
They like the speedster wide receivers. Very athletic defense they've had over the years. So, we'll see what happens with the Bills and Panthers. We'll get to that in just a little bit. I do want to say that I was 3-0 in the NFL picks over Ryno, so just saying.
Is that right?
Yep, that's right. I checked it last night.
So I started 0-3. Okay. Okay.
All right, let's get to the topics. A laundry list of topics, and here's how it goes on Ramblin' with Ryno. Ryno, before the podcast, will text me about 10 topics that he's had on his mind that week, and he wants to go through them. So we're just going to go through them and see what Ryno has to say.
You can insert Jamel Hill here at any point you want to.
Yeah, we'll talk about Jamel Hill and ESPN's quote, political bias. Hashtags. What is your beef with hashtags?
Hashtags are keywords. I think I've had this on a previous episode before. Hashtags are keywords. They're not check in at, Chili's. I really love the 2 for $2 special. It's so great. It's not. It's keywords. It's keywords. This comes from like Twitter. It's keywords like at the Lugoff game, hashtag demons, hashtag Gamecocks, hashtag Tigers. Quit making sentences because when you do a sentence in a hashtag, your spell check doesn't work and your grammatical errors don't work and you're like a damn idiot. So quit with the hashtags. If it's a hashtag, hungry, hashtag sleepy, hashtag go Gamecocks. None of those other sentences.
Well, here's another thing about hashtags.
And no apostrophes either, dummy.
Here's another thing about hashtags. If you do it on Facebook, it should only be as a joke because hashtags don't work on Facebook.
Exactly.
Last
There's nothing
I checked.
trending. There's no trending.
Yeah. Also, hashtags on Twitter only work if it's trending.
Exactly.
If you hashtag your own thing to try to make it a thing, don't. You're not that popular. But if you hashtag something to be involved in the conversation, that's a little different.
Yeah,
Like
hashtag Monday Night Football,
Yeah.
hashtag Raiders versus Chargers.
NFL Week 1, yeah.
All of that, yeah. Hashtag, Mayweather McGregor. All of that right there trends. My dog is awesome, does not trend. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, I never said this, I don't know if I said this before or not, but hashtag weddings, like if you was to get married and it'd be hashtag, I'm going to Tyler and Julie's wedding, hashtag cup runneth over, ha ha ha. That's stupid. Nobody thinks that shit's funny. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Hashtag my dog is awesome.
it's just stupid.
I'm actually going to take cup runneth over. I'm going to use that for a later time.
If you do get married again, I'll get J-Ray to make you some shirts that say my cup runneth over. Hashtag. The hell out of here.
Oh boy, that's good. Oh, the hashtag. I feel like there's more to that.
I just think it's dumb.
Let's see here.
And especially when there's like 9 hashtags. It's a key word. It's a key word.
9 hashtags in one Facebook post.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeesh. This generation of kids, what is your problem with this generation?
I don't have a problem. I was thinking about it today. Like teenagers, I know a lot of these young kids that hang around Louisville, play sports, whatever. I don't see how any of them get in trouble. They don't do shit. We used to do a lot of stuff when we was growing up, man. We was in the woods. We had guns. I mean, we had guns in the high school parking lot.
So you're saying the previous generation were hellraisers?
Well, I mean, could get in trouble by doing shit. Mischievous.
There's nothing they can do now to get in trouble? Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't do shit. They don't do shit. They lay around the house and
they're soft.
Yeah. No, they just don't do anything. They don't go out and do anything. We was in the woods with guns looking for something to do. We're not trying to get in trouble. We could trespass or, we like to drink a little bit here and there. Kids don't do anything,
Basically, you
man.
were the kids from the Goonies, basically.
Pretty much, but they go to school and come home like they don't even.
Was there a chunk in Ryno's crew? Was there?
I don't know, man. I don't think I had a big guy in the crew. We all like candy bars, though. But I just don't see how they could ever get in trouble. There's always there's always the greasers, man. There's always a couple greasers, especially from Lugoff, and that they can get in trouble. I'm with that, but. Like, kids these days, man, they come home, play video games. They're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, watching TV. They don't go out and get in trouble like we used to, which is good. I mean, that's good. They don't get in trouble, but damn, man.
It's something you don't think about, but I think you nailed it right on the head. I mean, if you get in trouble nowadays, it's unfortunately drugs.
Yeah, true.
And that's the unfortunate part of it.
That wasn't our case back then, man. We would get in trouble because we were trespassing, but not intentionally. We just going around mud riding or doing something stupid.
I guess you can get in trouble for saying on Twitter your teacher's a dickhead, but
yeah, you can. I'm glad we didn't have Twitter back then.
You would have done that.
I would have been.
You would have done that.
Yeah, I'd have spent most of my time in in-school suspension, I'm sure.
I love this question. I've been thinking about this all day because I'm fat and I love food. What's the one food you could eat every day for a month if you had to?
Well, let's say like 10 days. Because a month, that's a long time, man. I just want to see what that would be rational.
I'm going to go with a month, but
okay. Well, just say the power went out for. Just say the hurricane actually hit us, and.
Well, see, that's different.
Well, you had the option to get one thing.
We're talking about non-perishables here. I thought you were going to say like a fast food item or
whatever you want. I don't care.
Okay, I've got a couple of them.
Okay, I got two, but go ahead.
All right, I've gotten addicted in the morning. It's become almost like happenstance. Some mornings I just don't eat breakfast, but if I do eat breakfast, which is most mornings, I will eat half a bowl of oatmeal and 2 fried eggs. And I could eat that every day. It's a weird thing, but it's filling. I don't get tired of it.
Could you do it twice a day, though? You'd have to eat more than once in a day.
Oh, like that's my only meal?
Yeah.
Oh, see? That's different. So you're talking about 3 times a day.
Well, twice. You know, eat
Twice a day?
11 and then at 6.
I kind of thought about that too. Marinated chicken over rice from Lugoff House of Pizza with a salad. I could eat that once to twice a day, every day.
You're close to me on that. I was going to say, you know, the first one is kind of a combo deal. It'd be like an all-star special from Waffle House, but because it would be grits and eggs and bacon and toast and a waffle. You know, and then I could eat a bacon and egg sandwich, or I could eat the grits with the eggs or whatever. That's a combo. Mine was also something similar to that. It would be a steak and potatoes. It would probably be the souvlaki. It'd be the souvlaki meal from House of Pizza because it's got steak and potatoes. I wouldn't have to eat it but twice a day because it's got so much.
I could eat a house salad from Outback every day. I could eat that every day. That is like
for
the
a month?
best for a month.
If you had to survive?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I like their salads as well. I had to get some of that black bread though.
Oh yeah, the bread comes with it.
Yeah, the bread and salad.
Yeah, the bread comes with it.
Yeah, that's an interesting question to think. How long could you eat? Because I get tired of eating.
What about a fast food item? You had to eat it. If you had to eat one fast food item every day.
Is a sub shop fast food?
No, it's got to be in a
chain.
Well, Substation has a drive-through window. Take out the subs.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Just a burger joint, kind of.
Any fast food joint. It could be chicken. You're not a big chicken guy.
I would probably go Rush's because they got burgers, chicken, and barbecue and hot dogs.
Okay, so you're going.
I'm going Rush's.
You're going like supersize me McDonald's.
Oh,
menu.
you're saying one item from
one item every day.
It'd have to be like a chili cheeseburger from Rush's, and I'd hate it. I couldn't do it every day. I'd lie and go to a Substation and get a number 19.
Cajun filet biscuit from Bojangles. I could eat that every day.
That's solid. That's solid.
But I kind of like your theory, though.
I thought you meant one chain to eat from.
Let's do that. You go with Rush's with your one chain?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. See, that's got everything, doesn't it? It's got chicken, burgers, barbecue.
Milkshakes and hot fudge sundaes.
I might have to agree with you. I might have to go with Rush's on that one. I can't. I mean, Wendys, you got your salads, you got your chili. I've always been a big Wendys guy.
You'd shit yourself to death if you ate chili every day from Wendys.
I'm an old man at heart.
I'm telling you.
I think I'd go Wendys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you get 4 for 4, man. You wouldn't go broke. 4 for 4 is a pretty good deal. I just like the greasy buns. I don't know how to buns get
now
greasy.
they got the $5 deal with the double burger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is great for the construction workers.
The Frosty's only 50 cents, so I could probably go for one of them for dessert.
All right, I thought that was a fun debate. All right, your next topic: why are folks still smoking cigarettes?
I understand why, like, our parents are smoking cigarettes, or maybe like even our age people are smoking cigarettes. I know nicotine's an addictive drug or whatever you want to call it, and you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anybody. I'm asking the question: why would a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old start smoking this day and age? It's like the most dangerous thing in the history of the world that you get nothing out of. I mean, I kind of halfway see people smoke weed. It's kind of like drinking beer. You know, you get high or whatever. I don't know why anybody would do heroin or meth, but you know, that's another topic. Why would you start smoking? It stinks. It's terrible for you. Yellow teeth. You smell like smoke. Everything smells like smoke. I just don't know why anybody would start smoking cigarettes now. You know, back when we was in school, they would say it would cause cancer, but now, I mean, everybody in our lifetime in the last 20 years has seen somebody that's affected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're asking for it. You know, I mean, like I said, you know, the guy who smoked 3 packs a day for 40 years, he probably can't quit. I get that. But why would a 16-year-old high schooler ever think, man, I'm going to smoke this cigarette? This is probably a cool thing to do. There ain't no Marlboro Man posters hanging around.
Well, it's interesting, too, because this generation has seen, as you're trying to allude to, so much of the bad effects that smoking has had.
Everybody's got somebody pretty much in their family or knows somebody that died of smoking, emphysema, or cancer, or whatever the case, man. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing that it's legal.
But you know what? I can't think of anybody that I know personally in their 20s that's smoking. You must see it on the road, though, when you drive around.
Yeah, I mean, I see it in the stores and stuff, and young people walk in, like, give me a pack of smokes. I'm like, God, dog, man, why? Why would you ever do that?
The big thing now is vaping. That's what the kids do now. I mean, there's high school kids that are vaping right now.
Yeah, see, why would you start vaping? If you never, I could see it being an alternative to quit smoking, because even though it looks gay as hell, it's better than smoking a cigarette. And I'd rather smell apple pie than Marlboro. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. You like a fucking tool bag blowing a fire extinguisher out your nostrils, but I mean, it's better than smoking cigarettes, stinking up the whole joint. And,
I think we just found the title for this episode.
I don't get the vaping, but if you're trying to stop cigarettes, yeah, I get it. It's got to be better for you. It's got to be.
Next question: fan of Halloween or nah? Are you a fan of Halloween?
I'm asking you.
Yes and no. You know what? I'm not. I'm just going to say I'm not. I'm not. It's a kid thing.
I think once you're like 9, 12, it sucks. I mean, I know we have me and friends of mine have dressed up a few times. You know, the Rock and Roll Express is probably the best one I've ever seen and been a part of. But it's just, and everybody loves fall. I don't like dreary, cold days when it's raining. I like cool weather. I mean, I don't mind.
Well, that's why people like it. They like the colors.
But man, fuck, then it's raining and it's 45 degrees and it's fucking miserable, man. That's
the bad part.
Fucking people who don't work outside.
There's bad parts of every season.
Every asshole that says we need the rain works in a fucking office. I mean, you ain't never heard a guy, that bust rocks for him like, man, fuck yeah, I hope it rains like hell tomorrow. No, you don't want. You ever heard a roofer say, the only reason a roofer wants it to rain is because they have a day off. I mean, I like the fall better
because of fire.
Because of football and that time of year. But I don't like cold.
There's bad parts of every season though, Ryno. I mean, of course there's bad parts of fall. There's bad parts of summer and winter.
I can take the heat, dude. I just don't like the rain.
Some people hate the heat.
Fuck, they work in the office. 72 degrees, 8 hours a day. Kiss my ass.
So you're not a fan of Halloween. I'll tell you, I kind of felt like pulling a U last year when I went to a party. I had no idea it was a costume party, but they said it was a Halloween party, like a Halloween themed party. They didn't say costume. Well, I show up without a costume, and I was the only one without a costume. And I just felt like even if I wore a costume, I'd feel weird. I'm like, it's a grown-ass man, 31 years old, wearing a costume.
It's only good for the chicks who want to dress, who really got the inside whore. They got the inside whore, and they want to, dress up like the naughty nurse or the dirty cop. A guy is pretty basic. I'm dressing up like, overall, I'm a farmer. Halloween's scary, motherfucker. You dress up like a damn. I don't get it.
You're not a fan of haunted houses? I'm not either.
Well, my problem with haunted houses is, generally speaking, you pay $15 or $20 these days because it's expensive. But you stand in line for 2 hours, man.
Yeah, I'm not
outside
a fan.
in Lee County. You ain't gonna get me outside in Lee County for 2 hours.
No, sir. No, sir.
So I mean,
Lee County is a haunted house in itself. Are you kidding me?
And you can't really scare me. I'm never gonna squeal. I don't think.
I know we didn't offend anyone in Bishopville. Okay. All right, you had Michael Rapaport on your list, and I meant to pull up a clip. I'm not sure what this is referring to, but Michael Rapaport is one of the best follows on Twitter. That guy is hilarious. I love that guy. But what is your beef? What is your praise for Michael Rapaport? I'm not sure what your take is here.
At one point, Michael Rapaport was all of us. He was a fanboy, I guess you say. He's a big fan of the New York teams. And then he had a platform to call out. I mean, he would just do a Facebook Live for a minute of calling out James Dolan. And then, calling him a dumb fucking, you fucking asshole, But now he's turned political, and his stuff is shitty. I mean, he's the white kid in high school who made his mom buy him the FUBU gear so he can hang out with the black kids. He's trying to be like this black image guy.
I disagree.
He's garbage.
He's always been like that.
Yeah, but I know. But his whole defense, his whole thing is a like he's trying to, even the black people.
He's a New Yorker though.
So.
But you're acting like he's a poser. He's not a poser. That's him.
Yeah, I know, but what's his basis here? When you even read the stuff that the black people leave comments on Twitter about what a phony. I mean, I get it. That's his image is the same, but it's just continuous junk, man. He's just junk. And then he's in the political realm. When he's in the sports realm, I enjoyed it because he calls out people. I don't need his political takes. I don't need him. He don't like Kid Rock. He's a punk. This, that, and other. Who cares?
Well,
I don't like political takes. The same with Jamel Hill coming up. Man, you're sports.
There's a segue.
You work for Barstool Sports now. You work for Barstool Sports. You don't work for CNN.
But Barstool Sports, just like another site, which is The Ringer, those are sites that is not just sports, pop culture, politics. They do all kinds of different things. Whereas, again, this is a segue into Jamel Hill, where Jamel Hill goes out on Twitter and calls Donald Trump a white supremacist, and white supremacists are joining Donald Trump, and yada, yada, yada. Listen, when you work for a billion-dollar company, there should be consequences for what you say on social media. The general manager of this radio station that we're doing this podcast in said long ago, and I'm starting to agree with him, he wishes he could limit or somehow put a rule on people using social media. Listen, social media is freedom of speech, absolutely. But you are representing a company. You are not just representing a company. You are representing producers, personalities, key grips. You're representing all those people that make that show that you're on.
And it's also freedom.
Oh, and you're representing advertisers. There's another one.
That's the biggest one. But it's also freedom to punishment. I mean, you're opening up yourself. If you take yourself out there and put yourself out there, you leave yourself open. Obviously, ABC's a liberal company. Who owns ESPN as well. They got rid of Hank Williams Jr. off Monday Night Football when he had disparaging remarks about Obama, Kurt Schilling, Linda Cohen. But nothing with her. Just a little blanket statement about, we wish we really wouldn't have said maybe these things. My thing with Jamel Hill is she's terrible. Nobody watches the show.
Well,
she's terrible.
It's become a double standard and a bias when Kurt Schilling gets rash about politics, he gets fired. Linda Cohen didn't do anything, in my opinion. Linda Cohen just said, hey, this isn't the realm for politics, and then she gets suspended. I didn't understand that at all. I mean, Linda Cohen's been there longer than anybody, and the punishment didn't fit the crime to me.
Look backwards like this. Michael Rapaport's talking about in the mouth, for black folks when he talks, and it's okay. But if any black person talks against the liberal side, they're Uncle Tom or they're selling out their own race. You can't be both ways. You can't.
I think ESPN's afraid to punish her.
Of course they are.
I think they're afraid to punish her.
And my thing is, like, I think we talked about, and I talked about to one of my buddies today, we don't watch SportsCenter like we used to anyway. You know, we used to have to. 20 years ago, I had to watch SportsCenter because we didn't have Twitter and social media. Or right now, I can grab my phone, pull up, and see who's pitching tonight for the Indians, what's his record.
Years ago, you would watch SportsCenter going to bed. You would watch it getting up in the morning.
And there's sometimes on Saturday, I'd watch 3 times in a row.
I don't either. I don't do either of those.
No.
None of them.
It's a garbage show, and not necessarily because of her, but she didn't add anything to it. There's nothing there. They sit there like they're sitting around on the patio just talking. Michael Smith's okay. He's okay. But she didn't bring anything to it. There's nothing about her, and I think that was a race grab putting them on SportsCenter anyway.
All right, let's get to some college football here, and the Gamecocks at home in their home opener in Week 3 will take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky has knocked off the Gamecocks 3 years in a row. I don't think they're going to have any problems beating the Wildcats this year. It's a 7-point spread. I think they cover big over Kentucky. That place is going to be loud at Willie B.
I'm kind of embarrassed maybe, or disappointed. Disappointed maybe the word, that it just sold out today. You know, I mean.
Not really.
Hey, you claim you're the greatest fans on earth and this, that, and the other. How do you not sell the home opener to –
Yeah. I
mean, I think you should. You that big of a fan? I get it.
The Gamecocks win big?
Yeah. I think they score at will, and their defense impressed me last week. You know, Missouri's not a great team, but they can score.
Listen, we talked about it on the locker room back on Monday. Heard on Cool 102.7 Mondays at 6 that when you go on the road, I don't care who you play, you limit that team on the road to 13 points. I mean, Missouri had just scored, 71?
Yeah.
Granted, it was against a lower-tier Missouri State team, but still 71 points. Good grief. And you hold that team the next week to 13 points. the one constant both weeks for the Gamecocks, not only has it been on the road, but defensive adjustments made by Will Muschamp. And
Tavares Robinson.
That has got, yeah. And
I think that hire is as big as anything.
It's got to be great to see for fans. Because you haven't had that the last 2-3 years for the Gamecocks. You haven't had those type of halftime adjustments.
I agree 100%.
Whether it be Sean Elliott, whether it be Steve Spurrier in his final 2 years, you haven't seen that.
Well, you had whammy. You know, that was your whole thing, and we see how that worked out for them and John Hoke and all these other guys. I think the biggest thing maybe is confidence and belief in Muschamp. I don't think there was any doubt that he was a good defensive coach. I mean, he won games with Texas and Florida and everywhere he's been. And look at Florida the last couple of years; they had a really good defense.
I think there was more confidence in Muschamp in terms of recruiting because he recruited those NFL guys on the Florida defense.
Yeah. And another the best recruiting thing he ever did was getting Bobby Bentley. Because without Jake Bentley here, if they got Michael Scarnecchia and the kid from Wren, they might have won that game 14-13.
Or how about Jake Bentley not even playing his senior year in high school?
It's crazy.
Think about that.
It's crazy to think about.
Think about that. Jake Bentley would be a true freshman for South Carolina if he played his senior year in high school.
Imagine him playing against, like, McBee High School on a Friday night.
Well, there was rumor about, there's really no what-if scenario here because, me following high school football the way I do, there were a ton of rumors. And I heard from the horse's mouth that he was going to one of three places: Dutch Fort, Somerville, AC Flora.
I heard Dutch Fort was pretty much the lock-up.
And obviously it would have made sense to go to Dutch Fort because of Tom Knotts, the high-powered offense. He's featured week in and week out. There was a lot of talk about AC Flora because of the connection with Reggie Shaw, who was then the coach at the time, who apparently is friends with Bobby Bentley with their ties at Burns. Shaw is now the head coach at Burns. But it is kind of interesting to think about what he could have done as a high school quarterback. And even further, we haven't had a 4 or 5-star quarterback in the state of South Carolina. You'd have to go back a long time. Maybe Willie Korn. Richard Bounce ended up playing baseball. I don't even know what star he was when he played for Blythewood.
I think he was a better baseball player, but
Mason Rudolph, I do not think was a 4-star. But
Deshaun was not. You mean from the high school?
From the state of South Carolina?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I can't think of one.
No,
Willie Korn is the only one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
that's it.
And the best quarterbacks South Carolina had were all out of state. Talking about Blake Mitchell and Steven Garcia.
I mean, you'd probably have to go back to Savell Newton. Then before that, Eric McCullum.
I don't think Eric was a 4-star, though.
He was Mr. Football, though.
Yeah. We can go through the candidates from last year, too, and we'll see how many of them was a 4-star.
No comment.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through some of these matchups.
Was Kevin Grant on that stage back when Eric McCullum was there? Anybody know what Kevin Grant is? By the way, Kevin Grant, the receiver from 2001 Camden High School team. I hadn't seen him since. I'm just wondering.
Oh.
He went to Clemson and disappeared. Is he still around here? Inbox me. What's next?
All right, let's go through some of these games here and give me a yay or nay on the spread if they cover. Ton of big spreads this weekend, Ryno, in college football.
Really is.
Michigan by 23 over Air Force.
I think their defense probably – Air Force is one-dimensional.
Do they run the triple option?
I think they still run something.
They do?
A shitty version. I'll take Michigan just because I don't think Air Force can score much.
Penn State by 37 over Georgia State. That's a lot of points.
They scored 52 on Akron. The defense is pretty good.
And Georgia State lost to Tennessee State.
Give me the Nittany Lions.
Okay. You took a big spread last weekend. You took that.
Fresno.
You took Fresno against Alabama.
Cover, baby.
And I loved your reasoning for that, by the way. I meant to text you that. I loved your reasoning of why Alabama would kind of take it easy on Fresno, kind of hold off the horses a little bit.
They played the Hawaiian freshman from Hawaii, and kind of just they glided once it was up 28, and that's what they got. They lay in 28 this weekend against Colorado State, and they could do the same thing.
Here's a tricky game: Oklahoma State at Pittsburgh by 13. That's a tricky game.
Well, Pittsburgh played like shit against Youngstown, but played fairly well against Penn State.
Pittsburgh is that team that beats somebody they're not supposed to.
And Oklahoma State's the team that loses. They lost to Bowling Green or somebody last year. So, yeah, that's a tight one. I would take Oklahoma State because I like Mason Rudolph and I like Mike Gundy, but you never know. That could be a tight one.
This is not a basketball line, but Duke favored by 15 over Baylor.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Duke played well this past week. They beat the piss out of Northwestern.
Yeah.
One of my losses. So yeah, I take right now. I got to go chalk all the way through, and you know that's a bad formula.
I watched this team over the weekend against my West Virginia Mountaineers. East Carolina is a 23-point dog at home against the Hokies at Virginia Tech.
I take the Hokies. What's that fella's name?
ECU is one of the worst college football teams I've seen in the last couple years.
What's the big black coach that coached for ECU that came from Texas Tech?
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Well, anyway, he ruined that. He ruined that. He's supposed to be a defensive coach. He came from Texas Tech, who gives up 50 a game. What made you think that guy was going to coach anybody?
Another big line, Oklahoma by 35 over Tulane. Any drop off from beating Ohio State the week prior?
That's one of them games, if you win 51-14, you feel good about, but you don't cover. You might not cover. I don't know, man. They don't have anything to prove in that game. So unless Baker Mayfield just wants to pump up Heisman stats, I don't know. I'd let that one slide.
The weirdest game of the weekend, Kansas State at Vanderbilt. Why would Vanderbilt schedule that game?
I don't know.
That's a game they can lose. Bill Snyder, good coach.
They did score 42 last week against a D3 school, but, yeah. And everybody says Derek Mason's defense. Get the hell out of here.
Does SoCal cover 15 against Texas?
I think so. I think they covered 25. I just don't think Texas is very good. Now, Tom Herman is undefeated on the road as an underdog, 4-0 at Houston, and with the staff when he was at Ohio State, I think he was 10-0 or some garbage. He's never lost as a double-digit underdog on the road as a coach, but it could be the first time. I just don't think he has the talent, man.
All right, let's get to the big one. Saturday night, college game day is in his house, Louisville, the Cardinals. This is a tough one. Louisville is a dog in this game, which kind of blows my mind. I thought this would be a pick'em, maybe Louisville favored by 2. I know that Clemson is defending national champs, and I understand that they got the defense and whatnot, but I just think this is a different game, and I think Louisville has the edge here. Lamar Jackson, you could argue Louisville has had the most impressive 2 games in college football as anybody. Neutral site against a Purdue team that isn't that bad, and then one on the road in North Carolina. I mean, that's 2 road games, 2 true road games.
Only 2 teams have won 2 road games against the Power 5 conferences, Louisville and South Carolina.
That's right.
I didn't make it up.
Yep. So who do you got winning this one?
I'm going to tell you what I think Clemson's going to scale it back, and I think they're going to out-physical on offense. I think they're going to out-physical with a 3-headed monster in the backfield. You see a lot of Feaster and all those guys, and Kelly Bryant showed that he can make throws if he had to against Auburn. He just didn't have to very much. And when he did it, he went to Renfro because he trusts Renfro. That's going to be the biggest thing. Louisville's going to find a way to take Renfro out of there. He'll take Ray McLeod down the field or Kane or whatever, but I think they're going to run the ball. And then on the defensive side, I don't know if Louisville can block Clemson. But then again, Lamar is that X factor to bust defenses. Yep. And then if they can get some guys deep on that secondary, they might be able to make things happen. I think it's close, but I would take Clemson like 31-27.
So you're still sticking with Clemson.
Louisville's defense, I don't think they can make a difference in this game.
You said it on Facebook on Saturday night. I don't trust a guy named Kelly. I'm just not sure Kelly Bryant can go on the road in Louisville.
I can see it. But, I think there's so many weapons that can neutralize it.
I'll put it to you this way. If he beats Louisville on the road, Kelly Bryant and the Clemson Tigers, I will start trusting that guy named Kelly.
Well, I will too, because the rest of the schedule is, other than Virginia Tech's, all downhill after that. So they'll be able to do what they want. Of course, but Clemson as well as I do, and there's a Boston College game or a one of those games in an NC State game that they may drop the ball. You just never know.
Did I miss something? I was about to move to NFL. The Bengals tonight, as we record this on a Thursday, are favored by 5.5 over the Texans. Wasn't that line like 3, 2 hours ago?
No, it was up to 6.
Oh, okay.
They made Deshaun Watson the starter, and it went to 6.5.
Okay.
And that's another one. That's an interesting. Deshaun, all the Clemson fans will talk about him throwing that 1 touchdown, but he also turned the ball over twice, and it was only 50%. It's great in theory that he's got Nuke Hopkins to throw to, but he's not reading NFL defenses like he did college defenses yet, and the Texans are like shit, but the Bengals did too.
Bengals looked awful.
But the Bengals do have experience on their side with Dalton and A.J. Green, and they got a 3-headed monster now with adding Joe Mixon back there in the back with Jeremy Hill.
But he did nothing last week.
Well, of course. But, that's a tough game to call. I would,
Deshaun Watson could be the spark that the Texans need.
It could be.
But it's on the road.
But you're putting everything on a guy who's only taking 12 or 15 snaps. Hey, man, cut the ringer off. This is like church. Don't interrupt the preacher.
Ryno's preaching.
No, yeah, I'm preaching. Anyway, so who you taking? Who would you take? If I hand you a $50 bill and you just had to throw it one way, no points, just straight up, who would you choose if it was no points?
Texans only because of the defense, but
Okay.
I just feel
But
like
that's the same, and that's what I would think too. But last week they gave it 29 to Jacksonville, and I know it was because of turnovers and everything else. But gee whiz, man, they didn't look dominating last week like I thought they would.
no. All right, let's go through these lines. I am 3-0 against Ryno in the NFL picks. Titans at the Jaguars.
You sound like my bookie. He's 3-0 on me every time I play.
Browns at the Ravens. Bills at the Panthers. Patriots at the Saints. Cardinals at the Colts. Eagles at the Chiefs. Vikings at Steelers. Bears at the Buccaneers. The Chargers will play host to the Dolphins on a short week. By the way, the late push by the Chargers.
I'm about to say an extra long week for the Dolphins, though.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks off.
Raiders favored big over the Jets. Redskins at the Rams. Broncos host the Cowboys. This is a fun week in the NFL. Seahawks, Niners, Packers, Falcons, Lions, Giants. All right. First off, who do you like? Anybody that jumps out to you?
Well, I really like Kansas City because they're back at home after beating New England. And Philadelphia's a team I like. But I mean,
Carson Wentz, that's your dog.
I like Carson Wentz, but Kansas City at home at Arrowhead and the confidence they're.
I'm not going against you on that one.
Okay.
Give me another one you like.
I like New England.
You like New England on the road?
Yeah.
I'll take the Saints in the 6.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, I want to tease it to 7.
No teasing.
All right. 6.5. All right. Who else do you like?
I like Minnesota.
Minnesota has the Steelers. Ooh. Minnesota defense. Bradford on the road.
On grass.
On grass. I'm not going to go against you on that one.
Okay.
What about the Bucks -7 against the Bears?
I'll take the Bucks. That's my dogs.
No.
I'll take the Dolphins.
Where are the Dolphins at? They're on the road, right?
Yeah, Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers.
Okay.
I'll take the Chargers. So I've got the Chargers -3.5.
Yep. And
All right.
I'll take Green Bay.
Green Bay. Ooh. No. Now, that could go either way. That's a shootout. That's going to come down to the final possession, you know.
I'll take them 3 points on the final possession. I'll take Tennessee on the road at Jacksonville.
Do I want to go with the Jaguars a second straight week? I had them last week.
That's true you did.
I had them last week.
Bastard. I thought that was free money.
Do you like the Panthers -7? Who do you like there? Panthers -7 against the Bills? You don't trust the Panthers. You don't
I'll
trust
take the
them.
Bills. You take Cam Newton. Give me them 7.
I'll take Cam.
Okay.
I'll take Cam.
All right.
I'm literally writing Cam -7.
That's what it's going to come down to. I mean, that'd be like we said. That'd be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of athletes there.
I mean, there's a lot of good games to watch. I mean, Kansas City and Philadelphia. I want to see. New Orleans sucks. I don't understand them, but Minnesota, Pittsburgh. That's a fairly good game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dolphins, Chargers could be. Dallas, Denver could be a good game. That could be a low scoring game.
I think Dallas Denver is probably the game of the week. The way Trevor Siemian played on Monday night.
Green Bay, Atlanta's the game of the week.
Yeah.
And then we go to Monday night and we get to see if the Giants can bounce back against Detroit, who look better than they should.
I'm calling this one. Redskins, Rams, sneaky good. That's going to come down to the fourth quarter. I'm calling it. That's going to be one of the games of the week. That's going to have a great finish.
The Rams have enough defense to keep it close.
Yep.
And the Redskins do just enough not to put games away. So I can see that field goal.
But the Redskins are also Jekyll and Hyde. You never know what you're getting. You could get good Kirk Cousins.
Well, Kirk Cousins could throw for 300, but 4 interceptions. I mean, he's just that guy. And I watched. You talked about it in our preview at NFL. Terrell Pryor drops a wide open touchdown pass in the corner, and like you said, he's not Deshaun Jackson. He's not your big time player. He's just not.
Yep.
So I don't know. What you think about the Indians?
That was random. Didn't expect that. One of the most surreal, unbelievable runs. We'll never see it again. Not in our lifetime, I don't think. Well, I don't know. No, you're not going to see it. When they have hit more home runs than runs allowed in 20 games, that is insane to me. That is insane when you think about it. They've hit more home runs than allowed runs in a game in 21 games.
I told a guy today, if you think about it, perfect example was last night. The Nationals had Scherzer on the mound against the Braves, and you think, well, they got the advantage. Well, I don't even know what the numbers was, probably 180 or something like that maybe.
Yeah.
And they lose. They get shut out by the Braves. I mean, how did the Indians not have one of those in 21 games? You know, I mean, it's baseball. It's the game where when the Yankees won their first World Series, they got swept by the Devil Rays the week before the playoffs started. It's so up and down in baseball.
Baseball can change in one swing.
Yeah.
You know,
well, look at the Dodgers. I mean, you're the best team in baseball for 90 games, and then you lose 15 out of 16?
Let me ask you this. Talked about this with a client today. He's a big baseball fan, and he agrees with my my theory. Would you rather have, if the playoffs started when they start, which is what, in 3 weeks, 2
Something
weeks?
like that, yeah.
Would you rather have the Indians right now, or would you rather have the Dodgers?
He said you'd probably rather have the Dodgers.
I said that.
Yeah, you said that. That's what. Yeah, I told the law of averages, the guy I was talking to, I said, you don't want to go on that 3-game losing streak to start the playoffs because then you're out. Yeah. You know, I mean, I can see where you'd say that. But, man, I just don't know how the Dodgers go from – and it wasn't just like one or two guys carrying him. Like the Yankees were Judge and Sanchez, and this happens. I mean, they have Bellinger and Puig and Seager, and there's so many guys. And then the pitching staff, Rich Hill was like at one point, 15-2 or something.
Alex Wood.
And then you get Darvish, who's
Alex Wood looked terrible.
Yeah, and the Braves beat the hell out of him, the last time they played. It's amazing to me how you can just be so up and down.
But here's why I like the Dodgers. They went on a 10, 11-game losing streak, whatever the hell it was, and then back-to-back nights this week, Clayton Kershaw, your dog in the postseason.
Terrible. That's why I wouldn't take the Dodgers.
And then Yu Darvish, back-to-back nights, take care of business. They look like the Dodgers of old. Okay, they look like the Dodgers of the summer. They take care of business. Everything's okay. Everything's cool on the home front. But the Indians, when they lose, what happens after that?
Well, they played a lot of guys for one, and Andrew Miller's been on the DL pretty much this whole run.
They have the most versatile pitching staff in the bigs.
Yeah, they got guys who can pitch the 6th inning, the 8th inning. And like I said, Andrew Miller's hurt. He comes back next week. You get your closer rested for 45 days. I mean, he already slings heat. Cleveland's got to – I mean, I'd have to take Cleveland just because of momentum, but they did choke it off last year against the Cubs, so I don't know.
World Series pick today. Mine has changed since Monday.
I'll go double chalk. I'll take Dodgers Indians just because I think the Dodgers pitching staff will get them there, and I really love Cody Bellinger. And the Indians, they're just crazy hot right now, and I don't see other teams in them. I don't like American League teams. And the Angels have been knocking the shit out of the ball, but I just don't like that team. I don't trust their pitching staff.
The pitching staff is atrocious.
And then Red Sox, man, this is like David Price has been a hurt arm since he's got over there. Did you
hear about Price today? Going to be in the bullpen this weekend.
That might be the best thing.
I don't know.
A hard-throwing lefty coming out for a couple innings?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, situationally, you'd rather have him for 7.
Yep.
Of course. But
I'm going Yankees and Dodgers.
Yankees?
Yep. Going Yankees and Dodgers.
Who'd they pick up today?
Nobody.
Shit. Ragged-ass Yankees.
I'm going Yankees and Dodgers, but I'm pulling for the D-backs. Who are essentially the Indians of the National League.
True. I like the D-backs team. They got a couple rough edged pitchers that's actually pretty good.
Well, it's Zach Greinke and then everybody else. Nobody knows who the hell Patrick Corbett is.
It's the Ray kid.
Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray. He looks like Robbie Lawler from MMA. I mean, he's a rough-ass guy, but he's like 10-3.
I bet you're a big Paul Goldschmidt fan.
I like Paul Goldschmidt. He's 30 bombs every year, man.
Yeah, man.
He's a run producer. That's what I used to be when I got out of baseball, really, when the Braves have sucked for all they have, just keeping up with random guys, and he's one of them that's really good. But I hadn't watched much baseball for a while here, I mean, and I won't watch it till the playoffs. I watch those Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, but every other night's football.
Yep.
Speaking of that, have you seen, since Tuesday and Wednesday, I don't have a remote. That's the only 2 days I give it up. Have you seen this Eric Decker show?
No.
You guys on a reality show?
No.
It's pretty interesting.
I was watching Toto Bellas last night with the Bella twins from WWE Wrestling.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
John Cena and Daniel Bryan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the only reason I bring the Eric Decker thing up, Melissa loves it. It's he's married to, I don't even know what her name is. Jessie James, I think is her name. She's a little singer or whatever, but you know who Eric Decker is, football player. She's got a little career. She's a cute little thing. But it's a reality show of their life. And I'm under the impression now, I believe, that anybody with a producer could have a reality show. If you had any kind of reason, you're only making like 10 episodes for a season, so it don't take but 6 minutes a week.
Well, think about the Kardashians. Think about that.
That's just ridiculous.
They're popular because of reality show.
Yeah, I mean,
like they didn't do anything before that reality show.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's the Duck Commander guys or whatever, the long beards and hunting. I mean, everybody can have a reality show.
Everybody's got a gimmick.
If you had a producer that could come up with something people would watch. I mean, there's so many people that have
So is
them.
this you reaching out to Hollywood saying, hey, producer, do a reality show on Ryno?
Clay Frith, when you got free time, bring your camera and your drone and follow me around.
Clay's days turns into Ramblin' with Ryno.
Yeah. Clay's days, Ryno's nights, son. Let's get this thing together. I just think you could sit around and come up with stupid ideas. I watched a documentary on what became Jackass, Bam Margera's thing, and that's all it was. His dad toted the camera around 24/7, taking pictures of them or video of them doing bike tricks and skate tricks, and he become a multi-millionaire known around the world.
Says the guy who just hung up a GoPro in the station as he gives the thumbs up.
Hey, I like watching the video. I don't like listening. I don't like the dead air. I like seeing myself back here spitting and acting foolish. But anyway, that's all I got, I think.
All right. I never know with you. I never know when just something pops in your head. Hey, man, what's your favorite cereal?
I mean, we've already done those last season, but hell,
I found a new one. Oatmeal Squares. Great cereal. Oatmeal Squares.
Hosted by Wilford Brimley. I didn't know my co-host
Diabetes.
was Wilford Brimley. I don't eat a lot of cereal because all Melissa buys is organic milk, and it's like white water, so I can't. I can't eat Fruit Loops with that. So
no, she don't love you.
Nah, I know. I'm
organic milk?
Yeah.
I'd rather drink soy, which soy milk isn't that bad. Almond milk's not that bad. Almond milk is actually
only like
pretty
one
good.
kind of milk.
Whole.
I mean, come on, man. I want it straight out the tit. I don't want that pasteurized skim and all that. I want it straight out the bucket.
And that's a walk-off. That is a walk-off. All right, he is Ryan Branham. He is Ramblin' with Ryno. I'm Teller Cup. And check it out, Ramblin' with Ryno.
Check it out on Spreaker. We're going to try to get this thing on iTunes.
iTunes very soon.
Ramblin' Ryno Facebook page. It'll be shared to my personal page and my Twitter. And I ain't got the Instagram yet, but I'm going to. So
Ryno has become a shill. I love it.
Let's do it.